Greetings once again, Chaotix. This is Mama Jen. So, from Frugal Housewife. I keep forgetting to add that last part. So I know it's been a minute since I have been on here. A lot has transpired over the time that I have not been recording, and I have actually missed recording very much, and I'm sorry for the sun reflection here. Let me see if I can adjust this at all so that I can put my little visor down. No? Okay, well, I tried. So I'm driving. I'm doing my weekly grocery shopping this week. I just thought I'd come on quick and just say, hey, I missed you guys. I missed doing vlogs in general. I've had a lot of thoughts go about ideas and stuff, and that's why I had a name change, because although utter chaos was true, I still love that, and that is my favorite saying. If you guys do not know about that, that is off of a show that my kids watched for a short while called the Upside Down Show. And it was just, I don't know why, it just always stuck with me. But anyways, it does not describe entirely my life now, so I figured I would give it this channel a new name. So anyways, during that time of me taking a break off of YouTube, I have been on watching stuff on YouTube, obviously, but I have not been recording anything on YouTube. Some changes that have happened: I have gotten a job. I've quit that job. Most of you know where it was at. I won't get into too much there. Just know that it was needed, that I had to quit. I really wanted to resign gracefully, but my body was just not having it anymore. So I had to quit because I was literally crawling out of my car in tears because my pain was so bad. But yeah, and plus the overall environment, I could have dealt with that for a little bit longer, but my body, like, shutting down pretty much, I couldn't handle. So what else? I unfortunately have gained 20 pounds, and a part of me wants to be like, no, I'm fine with that, but I'm not. Obviously, the reason being stress. It was stress related because of my job. And I've just let myself go a little bit. I've been able to stay in this range for a while, but I'm not comfortable in this range. I bought a lot of stuff based off of me being 20 pounds lighter. When I had my big shopping for clothing, and this stuff still fits for the most part, but it doesn't, I just don't feel comfortable, if that makes sense. I don't feel comfortable in my own skin again, so I need to get back down. I will probably do some vlogs on that. I will try not to make this channel too heavy on weight loss, because I get that's for some people, that's not their target. That's not what they want to learn about, and I get that, and that's fine, but it is something that I am going through right now. The other thing is, obviously, I'm not pregnant, which is probably due to the weight gain and what I've been eating. We're not 100% sure yet. I have not gone to the doctor lately, so we cannot confirm or deny that, but I just know that I don't feel good, and as a result, that's probably why I haven't been able to conceive. I don't know for sure, but we'll have to wait and see. What else can I say? I would also like to upload some grocery shopping videos. Don't know if I can get to those, because those are a little bit harder to record, because I can't just like whip out my phone while I'm shopping and be like, hey, this is what I'm grabbing and putting in my cart. I mean, I probably could, but I'm very self-conscious about that sort of stuff. I know that there are YouTubers that do it, a lot of YouTubers, especially women that go shopping that do that, but I just am not comfortable doing that. If I can do it in the car, I probably will, but I'm not going to be doing it at home either, because I have teenagers and they are loud. What else can I tell you guys? So we had the yucky virus that came, and we did not, our family was blessed. We did not receive it. We did not get it. We've had a few close calls, but we did not. I think, this is what I wanted to say about that. So during that time period, because of all of the isolation and stuff, we as a family have had a lot of time to really think. And some changes had happened as a result of that time period. My kids decided, oddly enough, to go to public school during that time. And that was a huge undertaking for all of us, because we had to learn how to adjust in those circumstances, which I guess wasn't a huge undertaking. It was just the mask issue of going back and forth, and sometimes they had to wear it, sometimes they didn't, sometimes they had to wear it, sometimes they didn't, throughout the school year. But they had nothing to compare it to, so like all of the guidelines, they just took it as that was a given, which was very nice, because they didn't have anything to compare it to except for homeschooling, which of course is a totally different thing than public schooling. So my kids went to public school. We also decided to go into family therapy. We just finally started. We have been calling around because apparently there was a lot of people that had decided, due to the isolation, due to just being more alone with their thoughts, that they realized that they needed help. And that's a great thing. But as a result, a lot of therapists didn't even have any availability. They didn't have any wait list. Their wait list was full, etc. So we had to wait, and we did get on, we managed to get on one wait list about a place that's 30 minutes from our house. We went to our first session, what day was that? Tuesday. And only half of us were there because the other half had to work, but I feel good about it. I feel like this is going to be a good step for us. The therapist seems really nice, and I just feel like we are heading towards the right direction, if that makes sense. What else? 2 out of 3 of my kids got jobs. So as a result of that, I have been pretty much driving around. My kids have also been doing the usual sports, and they have increased their sports because of being in public school, because I feel like they had more opportunities presented to them, and they had a little bit of pressure to do it in a good way, not like drugs peer pressure, but like a good peer pressure, because they were very athletic. And so my other child has decided to go into drama, and she loves that. She found her people. She found her tribe, and I am so happy. They have all managed to find their little cluster of people that are their tribe, and as a result, I'm very happy with that. I've met almost all their friends, and I couldn't be happier. They have a great group of people, and we are very blessed, even with them going into public school, that they've managed to find people that aren't crazy questionable, and that I don't have to worry too much about the influence that they put on my kids, or on vice versa. So that was really nice. What else? This may come as a surprise to some people, maybe not, but I have figured out my faith journey, or at least I feel like I have. As most of you guys have followed me, if you followed me on my blog, you know that I have been on a roller coaster of a faith journey. I have always been, not always, but since probably like my 20s, I have been a Christian. I have been a strong Christian. I have an issue with churches, if that makes sense. And just the overall politics and stupidity that tends to happen behind the scenes in churches. I have thrown myself into various denominations, and the closest thing I could say that I felt comfortable in, but still a little bit uncomfortable in, was when I joined the Mennonite church. I loved that. I loved the people, and that just may be the area I was in, because I have a lot of good memories in that area. I don't know. The people there were just amazing, and they really they were nosy in a good way, but at the same time, they that was just their culture. Like, you just kind of, like, everybody knew everybody's business, and it was a small town, but at the same time, it was nice to know, because it just made you feel like you were part of the tribe. And but I couldn't stay there, obviously, because I needed to get married. So, and that was the closest I felt as, like, this is awesome in my faith journey. And then when we had moved, obviously Idaho does not have a whole lot of Mennonite churches. In fact, to my understanding, they have, like, none. We do have some, to my understanding, German Brethren in the area. I think since now that we've moved here and been here for almost 7 years, we do have some either German Brethren or some Mennonite coming over, but it's hard to find them. It's not like Indiana at all, or Pennsylvania, where they're just everywhere and you just know. Like, they're very hidden because they're such a small group. So, but anyways, that was as close to saying, like, this is perfect as I could find. And once we moved, I'd found another church, let me put it that way. I found another church, and I loved the people there. I had no problems. It was just the behind the scenes stuff that I had issues with. And I had been searching for something for a long time, and I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. And when I joined the Mennonites, I realized it was the structure that they have. There was still some, like I said, there was still some things that I was like, I don't completely agree with, but for the most part, I agreed with what they believed. But then when we came here and we joined another denomination, like I said, there was just, I couldn't put my finger on it, but it just didn't feel right. So I started looking, and one thing that has continually been brought up all throughout my life, whether I wanted it to be there or not, was the Catholic Church. Now, before you guys go on, assumptions, I just want to say that they don't worship saints. We don't worship Mary. But anyways, one of the things that held me back was the preconceived notions that a lot of non-Catholics have about the Catholic Church. It's kind of like looked upon as you're no longer Christian if you join the Catholic Church. So as a result, I admired it from afar, and I always thought of them as like brothers and sisters in Christ, but I've never really delved into what they believe, and I'm still learning. But as a result of the pandemic, I'm sorry this is taking so long, but as a result of the pandemic, I just started looking into it a little more, and it seemed like everything that I found I agreed with, and it was kind of scary because that was the first time that's ever fully happened. Like, I don't disagree with anything that the church as a whole teaches. Now, I have issues with, some of the people in the country that claim to be Catholic, and I'll leave that to interpretation, but overall, I support what the church itself teaches. So I reached out to my local Catholic church, and I just said, hey, I would like to attend a service. I don't know what they're called, and I just want to know, is there anything I need to know ahead of time? And the church secretary was amazing. She emailed me back. We back and forth for a little bit, and I went in, oddly enough, during around Christmas time, right before Christmas. And I just went in there and sat. And when I went in there and sat, I just started crying. And it was a good cry, but at the same time, it was like an overwhelming sense of awe and respect. And I just went. It wasn't during a service, like I said. It was like, I think it was like during a time either I had off or it was, just after work. I can't remember what the thing was, but I just went and it was empty. And I remember just feeling like, okay, this is it. So I emailed her and said, I want to go to a service. And she told me, what to expect. I went on YouTube and looked at some Catholic YouTubers, and they had some videos about what to expect during the services. And so I went to my first service literally I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas. And I just remember being flabbergasted. It was a little overwhelming because, again, it's not something that I grew up with. I mean, the closest I've come to a Catholic service was many, many years ago when I was in 3rd grade. I actually attended a Catholic school for a year, and I had to stop going because there was an issue with my race at that school. And that kind of, that didn't burn my image of what the Catholic Church was. It just made me realize that just because you go to a church doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect in it. So anyways, I went and I loved it, and I went again and again, and I emailed finally after I think 3 or 4 weeks of going. I decided, hey, I would like to learn more about it in a more personal way. So I attended the RCIA classes. They kind of misled me a little bit when I looked on their website, and it looked like it was just a class to learn more. They didn't tell me out on the website that it was RCIA, but that's what it is. And I went, and they told me when I got there, and they told me throughout, hey, you do not have to join the Catholic Church. We offer this to everybody just so that they know and they get a better understanding of the church, but you do not have to join the church if you don't want to. But every week that I went, I just kept going, yep, and realized I agree with everything that I was learning. So, and the things that I struggled with, I went to the priest or the person who was who was talking during that day and just asked a few questions, and they had no problem answering it. They did not make me feel stupid. They did not make me feel wrong. They said it was totally normal, like when you're coming from a Protestant background, to feel certain things and to question certain things. But once they explained it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So this past Easter, I became a Catholic, and I am crazy excited about that. I have been attending ever since. I love it, and I finally feel like I'm home. I finally feel like I have found the church that I believe in, that I can support. And they have, I feel like, an answer. They have an answer for, everything to me. Everything that I've had a question to, and I've went to other denominations, and they would go, well, we don't really have a say on this as a church teaching per se, but the Catholic Church is like, we got a teaching for that. And some people may find that a little intimidating, but I find that very comforting, because there's been a lot of issues that I have struggled with, that granted, they were not salvation issues, but they were important to me. And I would go to my pastor and I would go, what does the church say? What does this denomination say about this? And they would go, well, we really don't have a stand on that. And I would feel weird about that, And I know that I could form those and just have my own personal convictions on them, but it's kind of hard to have convictions when, you know, half the church has it, half the church doesn't, you know, or a certain percentage of the church has it and another certain percentage has this and this and this. And I like that when you come into a Catholic church as a whole. Now, of course, like I said, there are certain Catholics that I do not agree with as a whole, but the Catholic Church itself has a teaching on just about everything that I could find and that I had a question for, and it aligned with what I had already felt convicted and led about. So that was really reassuring. So I became a Catholic over Easter, and I love it. Now, how did my family respond? Well, that might be why we're in family therapy. I don't know. But my kids are each on their own faith journey now as well. And I think me showing that example is really bringing that to fruition as of lately. Because up until probably like 2 or 3 years ago, they pretty much went wherever I went, which of course is a good thing. But as a result, they realized that, oh, we don't have to go to XYZ church just because mom goes, or because dad goes, or because, you know, our family went, or because auntie goes, or whatever. So as a result, they started branching out. They have been branching out for a few years now, but I would say within the past 2-ish years that they have said, like, I think I want to explore other churches. And I'm like, that's cool. That's absolutely fine. My husband initially, and please keep in mind that he is on the spectrum, so just change in general, he automatically just does not like. So when I told him this, he was like, you're going to an entirely different religion. And I expected that. And we did have a big blowout because it got to the point where everything he said was negative. And I finally had to sit down with him and see what the root cause was. And once he realized that, you know, this was the issue that he had with the church, that we could talk about it and not be like, I don't know, condescending when we do. That opened up a doorway for us as a couple to be like, okay, so we go to different churches, so what? You know, we still believe the same foundational things, which is all that really matters. So, yeah, that was with that. And my oldest is still processing some stuff faith-wise. She does go to a church, and I'll leave it at that. I'm happy. And my other two will, let's see. My other two children will, they will usually, as of lately, they have been going with me because of my husband's work schedule. They have not been able to go with him because he usually misses it. And my husband is starting to, he's trying again to find something that fits better for him. I don't know what that entails, but that's what he's doing. And because of his work schedule being the way it is, he cannot always commit to doing it, you know, Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, because sometimes he doesn't get home until 4 in the morning, and that's not a whole lot of time to sleep. So, yeah. But anyways, I just wanted to share what was going on with you guys. I'm sorry that this video was so long. I'm going to go do my grocery shopping now. And I just wanted to show you guys and say I am good. I am well. It is well with my soul. We came out of it. We overcame. And expect some more videos from me. So until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.